Hand buff priest for the pre-release Tavern Brawl. This deck list comes to us by way of Twitter. I actually saw Imik had this list, played it, and had quite a few wins, as you can see here. And I'm going to have a link to Imik's Twitter in the description of this video, so you can feel free to check those out at your leisure. Quite honestly, this deck reminds me of like an old school Hearthstone attrition deck. We're basically just preventing our opponent from killing us, largely in the way of healing, and then just removing the minions that they're able to place on the board. I think at this point in the Tavern Brawl, I see Death Knight far and away more than any other class, and we actually just outlast them with the healing provided in the deck by the Amber Priestess and the Cleansing Light Spawn, keeping in mind that as the health total of these minions continues to get higher, it's just a bigger heal, and you can see with the Priestess having Taunt, and the Light Spawn actually having Lifesteal, it just goes a long way to preventing the damage that's going to be going into our face. One change that I did have to make to the deck, I believe Imik was playing Eternus. It's a legendary priest minion that I actually haven't opened yet. I just slotted in a Behemoth Mask for some additional healing, specifically for that Death Knight matchup. I don't think it necessarily matters what you slot into that if you don't have Eternus. Behemoth Death Mask has been okay. Sometimes it can help you close out a game by giving you a big 8-attack minion on the board. And, of course, the lifesteal can be good, but feel free to replace this with anything of your choosing. And also, if you don't have Medivh, I don't think you need this card in the deck either. It's just kind of fun to play, fun to have in the deck because it is a new expansion card. But in the games that I've played, the Medivh minion is not needed. Just destroying the board, I haven't actually needed that against any of my opponents. The Great Staff doesn't do a whole lot in this particular deck. We don't have a whole lot of spells, unless we're actually able to discover those from our opponent's deck with an Intertwined Fate. The location, though, can be good. It can just help you close out games a little bit earlier if you put this on the board. But if you don't have this card, I would say feel free to replace it with anything of your choosing. And basically, again, just an old-school Hearthstone attrition deck where you win by outlasting your opponent. Please remember to like and subscribe. Picking up in the run, you can see that we are 5-1 here. Our opponent is a warrior, which really surprises me. I think it's been like a day or two since I've seen warrior in the Tavern Brawl. In the mulligan here, I'm really just looking for ways to be able to buff our hand. So definitely Disciple of the Dove, and honestly, I've been keeping Hourglass Attendant as well. We'll pass turn here, see what our opponent can do. And we don't really want a Dirty Rat here, so I'm going to pass. Depending on what we draw, it might just be Whelp of the Infinite on 3 and the Dirty Rat on 4. We might actually be able to hit something, and then we would have removal to be able to kill it. But I think I like the Intertwined Fate maybe a little bit better than that play. And I'm going to take the location. And from our opponent, I guess we're going to need value in this game. I don't know how good Champions of Azeroth are. We don't have a whole lot of spells here. It's Mr. Clocksworth for some board. This is kind of a weird spot to be in. This is going to be like the first control versus control style of matchup that I've actually played for the Tavern Brawl. Disciple of the Dove is pretty nice. We will do that. Get some healing going here. We should be able to buff our minions pretty well, I think, and I don't really mind if my opponent draws like a lot of cards off of this. I kind of want him to, because fatigue could play a factor in this game. So I don't really mind this at all. I don't mind taking damage either. We have plenty of health, and highly unlikely that we would be dying anytime soon. And the good news is we should be able to outvalue our opponent just because of cards like the Madame Lazul, Psychic Conjurer, and Intertwined Fate. And I'm just going to take the guard duty here. So basically, every play that I'm making in this control style matchup is I just want to be able to outvalue my opponent. So, you know, take the guard duty, take the Clocksworth. We just want to be able to have more minions, more boards. I will say that our opponent is going to have better removal than we have, because they're going to have things like the Shield Slam, Fortify, Brawl, Shell NATO. Could actually overdraw our opponent by a card by just playing the Cleansing Light Spawn. Is it worth? Maybe? Not going to think about it too much. I am just going to go ahead and do it. So not a key burn, but you can see, looking towards fatigue, they're going to be 3 cards ahead of us, which is nice. Also, in a matchup like this, Medivh might actually come in handy. I said in the intro to the video that I hadn't had a whole lot of need for it. It's certainly a game where it's likely to see some use. And we are actually going to match our opponent's guard duty. And bump in a little bit here. That was probably not the right minion to hit. I should have hit this one. I wasn't really thinking about the Bloodhoof Brave with the having extra attack while damaged. So a bit unfortunate there, but that's what happens when you play too fast. Learn from me and don't make that mistake for yourself. I think we're going to be settling in for a really, really long game here, though. Opponent's still ahead of us in terms of fatigue. Man, hitting Medivh with Bob the Bartender for extra copies would likely be backbreaking for our opponent, but they won't know it until 20 to 25 minutes from now when we're winning the game. And hopefully we can get our opponent to start playing some removal. We're just going to take the damage, it seems. And again, perfectly happy with them drawing cards. Yesh. So this costs 0. We'll equip the Atiyesh, but there's not a whole lot that we can do with it unless we find things on the Intertwined Fate. There's not a lot of spells in the deck. I think I'm going to go ahead and get down the Clocksworth here. You want to play it nice and early in your turn. Make sure you have time to rewind if necessary. I'm going to rewind. See if we can hit something better on average than that. The game is keeping us in suspense. Come on, game. And we're going to keep these. I think an 8/8 and a Cairn. Probably don't want to run the risk of going again here. Could even consider Dirty Ratting if we're still going to be this far ahead on the board. Simply because anything that comes out of our opponent's hand, we should be able to remove it just with the minions that we have available to us. They could actually even be running some executes here. But if they're having to use their removals on this, then we don't mind that at all, keeping in mind that we actually copied this out of our opponent's deck, so they're basically using removal on not our stuff. Not exactly sure what all is in their list outside of the things that we saw with Clocksworth, Avatar of Hearthstone, Champions of Azeroth. Likely just lots and lots of removal, which we do see here. We just play the Archaeos. This doesn't die, but we also have a hard time just killing this thing. That 1 damage is really hard for our deck to be able to do. Could actually just make like a Dirty Rat and a Bob to freeze the board style of play. And then next turn get a couple of random 8/8s. I guess if we hit here now, assuming there's no taunt from our opponents, we would have Atiyesh and the location to be able to clear this minion. And then we would have a couple of 8-cost minions of our own. So assuming that we do that, they likely remove this. So we play the Archaeos. They're going to end up removing anything that we play. So I'm going to make the play like this. Any minions that we would have put on the board would have been removed just because we can't get rid of the Draco Rex. It took me a long time to kind of, figure that out and be able to make that play. But this is where we're going to be. And ideally, we would like this to die. If our opponent plays any type of minion whatsoever, we would be trading. They're actually going to do that for us, which is fine. And use 2 charges of their Bulwark of Azeroth here. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to go ahead and take another charge of their Bulwark. And we'll get these 8 cost minions in play. So it's pretty nice. We've been able to get rid of the Bulwark. It didn't prevent all that much damage. And now our opponent is forced to deal with this. Not really that big a deal that they break our weapon here. We were just going to be swinging anyway. So they really only cost us 2 damage over the course of the game, and they spent 3 mana on it. Freeze minions. I almost thought that they might want to take a copy of the Alec here and give us coins, cause us to overdraw, but that's not what they were thinking. See what else we can get from our opponent here. We get a Brawl. That's going to be nice for when our opponent attempts to flood the board. And at this point, I think I'm just going to get down this guy right here. And pass turn. Not really wanting to commit too much to the board. We know our opponent is playing Brawls. They still have lots of removal. Should be another Shield Slam. Should be 2 Fortifies. So we're basically just trying to trickle out the threats, force our opponent to remove them from the board. And again, we're just looking to play the long game. Our opponent fatigues ahead of us. They only have 12 armor. They can likely gain more, but feels like we should be in overall good shape here. And if this sticks, I'm definitely going to Dirty Rat. Maybe we can hit something pretty good. Could actually just go like double Dirty Rat and Brawl, since we have a Brawl, and then we have this after the fact. I think I like it. We'll also have a surviving Whelp here. That's pretty good. Another Dirty Rat. Don't necessarily like that. I guess that means they're going to be stealing the 1/1. But we've cost them a lot of value here. And they might actually end up taking the Dirty Rat rather than... Okay. I don't mind that at all. That's a good outcome for us. We'll do this. And I guess we go ahead and enrage. And we'll take something else from our opponent here, so... Pretty good for us. This, near worthless, but overall a good outcome for us. We were able to take a lot of cards out of our opponent's hand. They do silence the Caligos. That's, like, does almost nothing against our deck. We have very few spells here. But it likely means that the 4/12 is actually going to stick. And that's just a big minion to stick. So you can see here, we're just kind of outvaluing our opponent. They're spinning their own armor, using their own board. So we don't mind that at all. Incredible. And we actually get an additional copy of Karazhan. Keeping in mind that the Intertwined Fate, you get a copy of the card, not the card itself. Man, if we still had our weapon, unfortunately it got Rust Rot Vipered. But things looking good. This game is just, again, it's just feeling and looking like it's going to be a long game. It's going to take a while for our opponent to realize that they, in fact, are not winning this game under any circumstances whatsoever. Just going to keep applying pressure. Can even take some value trades. I mean, not super ideal, but it's also not the worst. We're going to be able to, like, chip into our opponent's health quite a bit with this turn as well. Maybe even just play this trade here. Boom, boom, boom. Intertwined Fate. Start with it. I guess I want to try to force my opponent to remove this board with whatever they have. And then next turn, the location is going to open up again, and I'll be able to get 2 more big minions out onto the board here. And you can see that if our opponent just can't clear this board, then we have a lethal setup. So these slower control matchups, it's just about slow, steady pressure and making sure that we stay ahead of our opponent. And we'll see what kind of outcomes. That's really bad. There's the Eternus that I have not opened to be able to play in this deck. They actually got 2 off of the Clocksworth. Don't blame them for that reroll. See if they do a little bit better here. They need Taunt. They need... Gosh, that's possibly worse. They go again for an additional rewind. Again, they're looking for like Taunt or some way to remove our board. Otherwise, they're just going to be dead here. And again, it's just not going to be good enough. And that is actually going to be us finishing our opponent. And we're going to do it rather quickly so as to not BM. Nice little 6-in-1 run with the deck. Again, thank you to Imik for posting that on Twitter. It's a great deck. You just slowly control your opponent. I did lose one. I got absolutely run over by an Elemental Shaman. My draw wasn't good, but I feel like Elemental Shaman is just a faster aggro deck than the Death Knights that we see so much of. And it just kind of overpowers this deck. You know, maybe it was a bad draw. Maybe even I misplayed a little bit. But overall, really great deck. If you're looking to play control in the Tavern Brawl, this deck will absolutely do it for you.